Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Team Lethal in the house, and I got my buddy Billy Johnson here. There's a lot of people out there that probably don't know a lot of your involvement with the car or what you do, even though you're out there, but people don't fully understand. So I'm going to introduce you guys basically to Billy one more time and what Billy does, who he is, what he's involved with. So if you guys aren't familiar, Billy is a professional race car driver. Where are you from? How'd you get involved in the car stuff? And real quick, just tell us a little bit about yourself so people understand, your background, please.
So a quick condensation of my career started in dirt bikes, go-karts, got into Formula cars, then sports cars, moved up the ranks, did some NASCAR stuff, and then through working with or racing for Ford, I got the opportunity with Multimatic to work on the GT350 and the 350R. So those were the first two road cars that I got. Actually, that's not quite true because I got to work on some Mazda speed cars. My uncle works for Mazda, and I got to help just like that much on like the Mazda Speed Miata, smidget on the Mazda Speed Miata, Mazda Speed 3, and the Mazda Speed 6. So that was super cool. But then fast forward to like 2014, 2015, worked on the 350s. That went well. From there, worked on the Ford GT, both the race car that eventually won Le Mans and also the road car with Multimatic. And then a bunch of race cars from the GT350 RC that Scott Maxwell and I won the championship in to the Mustang GT4, FP350S.
Talented man right there.
Bunch of stuff. And then, since the Ford GT, worked on Performance Pack 2, the 2018 Mustang, 2019 GT350, and then the main point of topic now, the new GT500.
So it sounds like you got a little bit of experience on the Ford side?
A little bit. So, yeah, racing, forgot to mention, I raced the Ford GT, the number 66, at the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the 4 years that the car ran. Unfortunately, that program has now come to an end, but it was super cool to be a part of it pretty much since day one. And we got a win at Spa-Francorchamps last year there, so that was pretty awesome.
So, obviously Billy's got an extensive background on the Ford side, and that's obviously, you guys know us, big time Lethal Performance for the Ford side. So that's, why, again, I want you to tell a little bit of your background so people understand, we're not talking to a guy just posting up on a forum who may know somebody who does something. You have actual involvement in the cars, development, testing, racing, and extensive experience. I've actually had the privilege of being in the car with you when you took our 350 around the track.
That was fun.
And that was a lot of fun.
And the RS.
And the RS.
Yeah.
Leaving a lot of tire marks in Phillips in parking lot.
Yep.
Shout out, by the way, to Philip Weichert over at Weichert Ford in Lake Wales. He is our Ford dealer. That's why we purchased all of our cars from Philip, and we also recommend all of our friends and family to purchase their cars from Philip over at Weichert, because he's a great guy, does an awesome job, and that's it. He bleeds blue, just like us.
Definitely.
So, you mentioned, I was going to ask you about the affiliations, which you mentioned most of already. So it's like Multimatic, Motorsports, as well as Ford Performance and other things. So, as well as your races. My question, do you have any pre-race rituals that you tend to do, or?
Not really, no. I'd say maybe the most interesting thing, and I've been asked this question a lot for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's a really long race, and it's very mentally and physically demanding. Probably one of the most mentally demanding tracks out there, because it's essentially, most of the track is a 2-lane public road, and there's a massive crown on the road, so you're going from off camber side of the crown up on top and then back on camber, and the car gets super twitchy through all of that. So it's very physically and mentally demanding, and my ritual for Le Mans is pretty simple and getting a really good rhythm of, after I do the stint, I get out of the car, grab some food, take a shower, and sleep for 1 to 2.5 hours, depending on how the stints work out with my two co-drivers. There's only 3 drivers driving in one car at Le Mans, so it's quite demanding for all 3 drivers. Not quite as bad as back in the day when they only had two drivers.
Okay, so it's broken up a little more, the time.
It is, but now it's pretty much a 24-hour sprint race. So you're going 10/10 the entire time. There is no taking care of the brakes, taking care of the engine. You're going all out, and that's pretty much what that race and also the 24 hours of Daytona has turned into. So yeah, I drive, eat, shower, sleep, and then get up, do it
I
again.
don't understand how. And you actually sleep or no?
I sleep.
Does he sleep?
Yep.
I would never sleep. I'm a nervous guy, all right? I won't sleep. I'd be shaking the entire time beforehand. I'd be in the bathroom as well beforehand. Nervous as can be, but hey, that's the difference between me, amateur, and this guy, professional. That's basically what it is. So let's see here. Basically, I mean, you know, the big thing, the 2020 GT500. It's been a while, it's been talked about, finally here, you know, placing orders, and cars are going to be coming out soon, you know, they're going to be hitting the streets.
Yep.
What was it like being involved with that car? I mean, being chosen to be a part of it, the testing and development and taking the car out on the road and the track. I mean, what type of feeling is that, man? As an enthusiast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. I love cars, and like I said, back from the Mazda days when I was a young teenager, getting to work on production cars is just super, super cool. But then to be doing it for Ford, to do it on such iconic cars as the Mustang, and then even more so Shelby cars, the 350 and the 500, is just a huge, huge honor. And I've been very fortunate to be asked to drive and help give feedback and work with the engineers and actually the people that deserve most of the credit. Like, I get a lot of credit, maybe too much credit, in terms of Billy did all these cars, but no, I just play a very small part in a big picture with tons of people who are really the unsung heroes making these cars, drivetrain guys, chassis dynamic guys, suspension, brake, tire guys, you name it. There's so many people that are passionate, who bleed blue, who love cars, and that's the best part is you get to work with car guys who love what they do and who love performance cars, and you get to create cars. You get to create things that end up in dealerships, that end up in people's garages. It's really, really neat to be a part of all that.
What's it going to weigh?
Yes, that's something that has not been
released
yet.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
The truth serum hasn't kicked in. I gave him a shot of it beforehand. Yeah, right. Here, Billy. Start talking now. So, well, the weight. I mean, obviously, we know what these cars weigh, or around, right? Mm-hmm. This car weighs like what, 3,900 pounds, something like that. A performance pack car, something like that. So, you figure, I mean, bigger brakes on that car, but there's a lot involved. It's kind of hard to give and take. There's a supercharger on there, intercooler system, but probably different things, that would, the brakes too, the size of the brakes.
Well, so without throwing numbers out there, you hit the nail on the head in terms of those different things. So if you look at a GT350, you put a supercharger on it, that's weight that's not on a 350.
Yep.
And then the intercooler, the front mount intercooler, the pump, all the water that's in the system, that's weight. You mentioned the brakes. They're massive. They're as big as my forearm. From like my elbow to my fist, I have a picture of it. The caliper is that big because the rotor is 16 and a half inches in diameter, and the caliper is bigger than that.
So how are we going to put the drag wheels on there? Is that?
Well, that's on the front. I think
I know.
Back you could do that, or
you have to do a brake conversion or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's, shipping. Well, you think about it. The shipping weight of like a Whipple kit or whatever. You know what I mean, with the intercooler, all the hoses and everything else, probably like 150 pounds, I say, just to estimate it. So.
And that's without water.
Yeah, exactly. Without coolant.
Because you're making a lot more horsepower, you got to cool that. So a radiator has to be bigger. Oil cooler has to be bigger. Transmission cooler, it's got to be bigger. It's got a dual clutch transmission. Those are fantastic, and the dual clutch in the GT500
I was curious about that.
Amazing. Maybe we could talk about that shortly, but it's amazing, but it's heavy, so that's more weight. Diff needs a bigger cooler. Everything needs more when you make more power and you go faster. So, like I've had people ask, I've heard comments like, oh, it needs to weigh 3,500 pounds. It needs to weigh 3,200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, in order for any Mustang to be that light, everything has to be carbon fiber, and you're going to look at 150 $200,000 car to make
People
it.
don't want to pay that for,
Yeah,
I'm not going to pay that for a Mustang. I'm not paying it for a Mustang.
And
But
some people complain about the price of the car as is, but there's always gives and take
Yeah, of course.
When you come out to that. But I'd say, as a whole, I think the GT350 has been a pretty successful car.
Of course.
And it's just so different from any other Mustang, revving to 8,250 RPM, flat plane crank, very, very unique.
And the R's aren't cheap. R's are what? In their
they're not.
70s, right? There's
Yeah.
a $70,000 car for an R. I mean, so you're looking at the base price of what the just a base GT500 is what in the mid 70s, right?
Yeah.
Something like 74, 50 or something like that. So not too far off for a lot different of a car.
But that's also what, like, I love high revving cars.
Okay.
And I come from an import background, so small displacement, high revving, and you really have to strangle their neck to go anywhere. Not used to off idle having 500 pound-feet of torque and be able to light up the tire by dumping the clutch. So the 350 still has way more torque than a lot of those import cars.
Yep.
So it was nice to have that. But yeah, 350 was amazing. I hope that and I think the 500 is going to have also a positive review, because that's the last missing piece of the puzzle for most Americans, most Mustang guys, of having that torque.
It's been a while. Yeah.
And that's what the 500 delivers.
It's been a while since we've had that supercharged out of the factory. I mean, the last GT500 was what 5 years ago.
Yep.
It was 2014. I mean, and that car was awesome. I mean, it's funny. Every car that comes out that we get, I'm like, this is my favorite one.
Yep.
This is my favorite one. And I changed my mind. The same thing. Like, I love the GT350. And honestly, I love our 10-speed, 2018 GT. I mean, of course,
Yeah, what you guys do with that is really impressive.
it's unbelievable.
So,
I mean, blower, bolt-ons, tuning 85, and I ran 8s.
yeah, that's
It's,
awesome.
It's like you go 8-second quarter mile in a car like that. It's unbelievable. So it seems like every car is my favorite. But on that side, the GT500 has been a long anticipated, car. It's been talked about. I mean, I'm happy to actually see it happen, because where we see the automotive market going with downsizing, smaller displacement, higher restrictions on a fuel economy and all that other stuff. And again, is this our last, V8 big, supercharged vehicle? We don't know that, but let's just be thankful that Ford has brought this car to us and it's actually happening.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
it's a good time. I got Shannon over here says, jump right into it. How much better is the 500 than the 350? Go. You're not going to get the straight answer. He's going to be, because he loves both cars. I'm sure.
They're different.
Yeah.
Like, they're just completely different. So you could compare it a lot in terms of maybe Porsche's GT3 and the GT2. So the GT3 is the preferred track car. It's naturally aspirated, revs higher, and that is just so pure, being naturally aspirated, lighter, so on and so forth. And I definitely think the GT350 will have that. Will always have that.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I love high revving engines, and
Okay.
to have a freaking 5.2 liter rev to 8250 is just astounding. Right?
That
That's
thing
higher.
screams. Yeah, it screams.
That's
man.
higher than the E90, E92 M3s, the 4 liters, smaller displacement, not a flat plane crank. Those only revved at 8,000 RPM.
Yep.
Honda NSX, 8,000 RPM, 3 to 3.2 liters. So to have a big V8 rev that high is from Ford.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
way
American
more
V- yeah, American, exactly.
That's affordable compared to a lot of the
What you're going to pay for
Europeans.
we're talking the difference between a GT3 price wise
Yeah.
compared to like a $60,000-$70,000 car that Ford makes. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a big difference, and the fact that it competes with cars like that is unbelievable.
Exactly. And so that is unique in itself, and some people appreciate that, and I think that would be a better fit for some people. But then on the other side, there's a lot of people who like that instant torque, who don't want to be revving it really high to get the car to
Yeah.
go and be able to have fun with it. They want to just be loping around on the street, just boot the throttle and go. And there's something to be said for that as well. But it's different.
Yeah.
And I don't think, there's a lot of Ford versus Chevrolet versus Mopar, and that's always fun to get those going. But as Mustang guys, like, hey man, let's just enjoy our Mustangs. If you like a GT350 and I have a 500, think it's
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
that somebody has a GT350.
Exactly.
Think it's cool another guy has a 500. Think it's cool somebody
Yeah.
has an EcoBoost in their
The Ford family, man.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I hate to see, and it's happening
Yeah,
more and
yeah.
more. It's like, well, I have a V8. You EcoBoost guys are lame.
I don't like
or-
that stuff, man.
No,
I
that's
see it too. I don't like
completely lame.
I mean, we had an EcoBoost that ran almost 10s. You know,
Yeah.
it went like low, and like UPR has been like what? I mean, what did they go 9s in that car, right?
I'm
An
not sure
EcoBoost?
of it.
I mean, still though, like show respect for your fellow Ford people out there, guys. All right?
Yeah,
we're
just-
on the same team.
Exactly.
For real. I mean, look, we're all wear that Ford emblem and stuff, and whether everyone's life is different, you know what I mean? Not everyone can afford
Exactly.
the top of the line specialty car, but you know what? Show respect for
We
the
all
other
love
people.
Mustangs. We're all
Exactly.
here, so-
Exactly. So good point. I like that.
So in terms of 350 versus 500, in what context? There's many cases where the 500 is going to be better. There's many cases the 350 is going to be better. So it's hard to just outright say, oh yeah, it's better. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. But I love both of them, and if you can afford either, I don't think you could go wrong. Okay, here we go. Here's a more specific question. How's the base 500's track performance, since that's one of the most people, or that's the one that most people can get. Yeah, the base 500 on track is quite impressive. So the 500 track car is supercar levels of performance.
Okay.
It punches, the 350R punched well above its weight. It just delivers incredible performance for the amount that it costs, and it is just a world-class car. It's a classic, instant classic, but that 500 track takes that to the stratosphere.
We're talking about the carbon
insane.
track package.
Carbon track package, but the base car
Uh-huh.
is still very, very capable, and yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I
on
went
track.
for the carbon track package
did?
because
Okay.
of you.
All right,
Because
well,
you said
excellent.
if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it.
Well, if you have the means, I highly recommend it.
I don't know. I mean, you cost me like 18 grand in upgrades. Come on, man. Seriously, no.
Well, you didn't get the 350R, so
No,
might
I
as
didn't.
well.
I tried to. I tried. But we did want one initially, but it didn't happen. But we are going with the carbon track pack. Someone did
Maybe.
ask if there's going to be like a GT500R, like a R version. Isn't that? I'm pretty
is
sure
the
that's the
track.
track version.
Yes.
So the carbon track package is like their race version. The
Yeah. So
road-
it also has the carbon wheels made by Carbon Revolution, the same company
Yeah.
that makes the carbon wheels for the Ford GT, the GT350R,
Yeah.
and also the new Ferrari Pista. So it's and I have to say Ford was the first company to put those carbon wheels on a mass-produced car. So now Ferrari's kind of following suit. They're a little bit behind, but they are
Yeah.
now realizing, hey, maybe Ford's onto something. Porsche's also now
Those
putting
things
carbon
aren't
wheels
cheap,
on
man.
there,
Woo.
but they are outright better.
Yeah,
They're
they look
faster.
beautiful. Yeah, no,
It's not
look
just
more-
looks.
yeah, no.
They outright perform better. They're stiffer, they're lighter, and even if you have a aluminum wheel that weighs the same as a carbon fiber wheel, it's going to have more rotational mass because the carbon wheel, most of its mass is at the hub. So the carbon wheel that weighs the same amount as the aluminum wheel has more weight in the barrel.
Yeah.
And that hurts the gyroscopic effect, the steering response, and then also it's not going to be anywhere near as stiff as the carbon wheel. So the response from the car, everything is just better. They run quieter.
See, I never think
It's-
about this stuff.
Well, I
as
wrote an
as a person,
article.
but I know, like a person though who doesn't think about this stuff, like a professional racer, I don't think about that stuff. I'm like, yeah, look, they look cooler. You know what I mean? Carbon
there's-
fiber, bling.
No, there's so much technology into them.
Okay.
It transforms the car. It is a huge part of what makes the 350R a 350R. And it's a huge part of what makes the 500 track car
different differentiation.
insanely capable.
Okay.
And I just got back from the Goodwood Festival of Speed. It's in south of London, and it's just the most incredible event. You have cars that are worth $20 million, things that should be or normally behind velvet ropes their entire lives. They're being driven insanely fast up this hill, very narrow, hay bales everywhere. Quite often some of them wreck, so you're wrecking like priceless cars. It is just an incredible event. And Von Gittin Jr. got to drive the 350
I saw
track,
that. I saw.
and
That was a pretty sick video.
he thought from driving the car. So he drives a whole bunch of stuff. And I think he was telling me his drift car weighs 3,200 pounds or 3,300 pounds. I forget. So it's pretty light, completely stripped out for drifting, and throws that around all day. He jumps in the 500 for the first time, throws that thing around. And he's like, does this thing weigh 3,500 pounds?
That's crazy.
Like, no, it doesn't. And the fact that he thought it weighs closer to the weight of his drift car
obviously
really does show that not only the chassis tuning, the Magnaride suspension tuning, the overall work done to the GT500, but a big part of that is the carbon fiber wheels, making the car feel really responsive, way more nimble, and way lighter, and perform better than a car of a given weight should ever have the right to feel or perform like. So
it's more than looks.
way more than looks. And then if you do care to find out more information, maybe dispel some myths of, hey, it's just bling, or oh, they'll crack and explode on you, check out motoiq.com, or Google moto, motoiq.com, and then Carbon Revolution. And that'll bring up an article I wrote on the wheels. Really technical.
Yep.
Hopefully it's easy to read. I've been told it's easy to read, but check that out.
Yeah, Billy does a lot of good write-ups and stuff. And also, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, it's at Billy J Racing. He's involved, Ford guy, races, got a lot of good content, and again has awesome information that we're talking about right now that you can read up on. So you want to find out about, why is this wheel or this brake work better or this setup, follow him, all right? How does the trans feel? How the DCT? DCT, we're starting to get into that stuff.
Yes.
Justin Carl asked about that, I think. How's the trans feel?
So,
it's a whole new thing.
Brand new DCT. The 500 is the first car that transmission has gone into, and the Tremec guys came out and worked quite closely with the Ford Performance team. I had the honor to work with those guys, and we did a lot on the programming of that transmission. Like, maybe I don't know. Let's just say I was very particular with a lot of things, but they rose to the occasion and more. Like, they nailed everything that I was looking for, and I might be a little biased, but I would say that what they've done and come up with in terms of shift logic, when it upshifts, when it downshifts, is definitely better than PDK.
Okay.
So PDK, great transmission. Porsche does a great job with their cars, but I think what the Ford guys and what the Tremec guys have done, the logic is better. So when I drive a PDK car back and forth automatic mode versus me shifting manual mode, there is a far greater difference. I'm much faster shifting myself than PDK's logic. On the GT500, it is within 1 or 2 tenths of a second. So if you just put it into automatic mode, it is almost perfect for the way the engine is, and just the algorithms that they had to develop and all the different conditions. When I got to drive the car, it's like, nope, it's doing this wrong under this condition. It needs to do this.
Feedback.
They did all of that, and it is very good.
That's awesome.
And
so how do you switch, though? The big controversy, though, about the whole DCT thing, when it was announced finally that the car is going to be DCT, no manual. How do we do it? Would we do it like this? We turn the dial like that to turn the driver modes?
It is, but if you look at any DCT, Ford GT has that same knob. And any supercar, Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini, you name it, they all have buttons and paddles. So you either leave it in automatic shifting mode, or you manually shift it on the
dial.
So if you really want a manual, then buy a manual. Buy a GT350. If you want a supercharged manual, buy a base GT, throw one of his superchargers on it, and go. But the dual clutches are fantastic. They are not automatic transmissions. They are unique in of themselves. They're really fast. And the Ford GT car that I drive at Le Mans, the GT4 Mustang that I raced in England, we won that race at
man, congratulations.
Donington Park.
Yep.
And then I was racing again at Watkins Glen for Core Motorsports. Those are all paddle shifters. So pretty much all professional race cars are paddle shift transmission.
And you could basically change it though, like the mode, just to be able to change, from the
Yeah,
paddle
so
to
you put it into drive,
Okay.
and then it shifts automatically. You hit the manual button,
Okay.
and then you shift manually.
It's pretty sick.
So when cars are as fast as the 500 and the Ford GT on a road course, and I'd expand that more, forget just the 500, forget just road cars in general, but race cars. Because I lived at a time where professional race cars were, you had a dog ring H pattern gearbox where you'd be banging through the gears, crossing gates, using the clutch, and then that eventually went to sequential, so you're just pulling back on a lever, and that's super cool. And there's a lot of people that think, yeah, that's super cool, but you got a lever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but what's the difference between a lever and paddles? It's just a little solenoid that does the shifting.
Pretty much a similar thing where you have the ability to do it up
Yeah.
here instead of down there.
So as a driver, when you are manually taking your hand off the wheel and shifting, that takes a lot of precision away from driving fast. So there's more variables, there's more stuff
Yep.
going on. But on a racetrack, when you are having your hands on the wheel the whole time and shifting with the paddles, you are operating at a higher level and the precision gets finer because you're not doing all that extra stuff. You are just so much more focused on what you're doing that the racing and everything becomes at a much more detailed, finer, higher performing level. So yes, I do agree that manuals are important, and I'll always have a manual transmission car for that, but just for how fast these cars are these days and for what you're doing, I think you get in a lot more trouble trying to shift gears
of course.
with that level of power on a racetrack for as capable and fast as the 500 can turn laps.
I love not having to shift this thing. that thing just does it by itself. It's so easy. I mean, it's just I've loved manual cars. I can't drive a high horsepower manual car because you're so involved. I mean, it's like multiple things going on, and I'm not really good with that coordination thing. So, the clutch and the gas pedal and the brake and the shifting, I can't do it. Okay, so manual.
Well,
I can't do it.
I'm not going to say I'm better than you because I shift manuals, but again, going back to the thing, you want to have that fun, you want to be able to go that fast, and you
less things to
have a
worry
car
about.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But then, so there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not going to put you down for that. That's just what you want to do. And then I like manually shifting. I have manual transmission cars, and that's something I enjoyed too.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you can't have your cake and eat it too with everything. You can't go buy high-end exotics with manual transmissions anymore. That's just the way things have progressed. Same thing for the GT500 with the DCT. But can we just be happy you can have a DCT in a car that costs less than $100,000?
The car is going to be ridiculous, guys. Regardless, forget about that stuff. The car is going to be ridiculous. That's what you've told me from the beginning is how awesome the car is going to be, and I trust that. I trust that. So real quick while we're going through that, the car, I like from watching the videos of it, the sound. The sound and the feel, the rumble is there.
Yeah.
It's there.
So it's a cross-plane crank. The noise that supercharger makes, it is a monster.
Screamer?
It sounds good, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, people like that. There's a lot of guys out there that are like, I don't have my whine, you know what I mean? I need my whine. I got to hear that supercharger whine. So, but the exhaust sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, from seeing it go around, and I mean, it sounds awesome. So, how's the heat management on the track? You were saying that it's got the larger, pretty much everything, radiator.
It's pretty much good.
Oil cooler,
you can just turn laps over and over and over, and like the GT350,
tear it up.
and 350R, they don't overheat. 500's the same way. You're not going to burn the brakes into the ground. You do not need to put track pads on. You could just take it to the track, beat the crap out of it for as long as you want, and then drive it home. So pads don't overheat, brakes don't overheat. That's why they're so massive.
You were saying like that, rotors like that, right in front, right?
And then transmission and engine don't overheat. So
awesome.
You can track it.
Let's see here.
different tuning between the carbon fiber track and the base when it comes to suspension and drivetrain. Suspension, yes. So obviously with the pretty significant increase in downforce, that wing, that's another thing.
The wing, that's the
wing.
one, GT4.
GT500 track wing is pretty much identical to the GT4 Mustang race wing. So the GT4 is
I've seen that.
the car I
of
race
course.
once in a while, and that wing was developed from the profile of the Le Mans winning Ford GT wing. So GT500 essentially has the exact same DNA directly linked to the Ford GT Le Mans winning car, and it is dimensionally almost identical to the GT4 Mustang race car wing. Needless to say, it is real. It makes a crap ton of downforce, and because of that and the splitter extensions, the track package car needed, and
Change
also
the
the
suspension.
tires and the wheels, again, it's not just the tires make a big difference, but the wheels make a really big difference, way more than I'd say most people would ever imagine.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so a lot of differences were done to the suspension tuning between springs, bars, Magna Ride, between the base car and the track. As far as transmission goes, I believe they're the same. I believe the tuning and calibrations are the same. So here's another one. What has changed that drilled and slotted rotors aren't in favor? They cause more wear on the brake pad, and they crack more. They're more prone to cracking, so durability and the fact that the brake pads are better now, and you don't need to have the outgassing of brake pads. There's far more advantages to having a solid disc rotor than drilled or slotted rotors, which is why the 2019 GT350 and all, I believe, replacement rotors for previous 350s are now not slotted, or they've never slotted, but they're not drilled anymore. Slotted, not slotted.
Just
Blank,
solid,
blank
yeah.
rotors perform better, the pads last longer, and there's more advantages to that.
Got it. Let's see here. What else we got?
When
Go
our
ahead.
VIR track time is going to be released? Well, if you guys know Ford doesn't officially release lap times. They never have, and that's another interesting topic. So when you look at like magazine tests, they're all flawed. Like when we do testing with Ford, I'm really, really stoked to be able to do this. We have the cars lined up. Brand new tires on all the cars, best time of day. I throw down lap times in one car. Hop out, hop in the next car. Lay down lap times. We have full Motec systems and all of them analyzing everything to be able to accurately compare against our competitors. And we go to the nth degree on making sure our cars are indeed faster than our competitors. If we have flawed testing,
I thought they could be like, oh, hey, Billy, good lap, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, how'd I do? Sorry, Billy, we can't share that with you, bud. What?
Well, it's not just that. If you're trying to compare your parts to somebody else's, and you just run at the drag strip your car down a good part of the day, and then you run your competitors or another thing
of course,
at the worst part of the day, it's going to be slower.
Flawed testing.
Exactly.
So,
and magazine, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to point out magazines, all of them.
What are magazines?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
they
sorry, magazine guys, but you don't exist anymore for the most part.
Well, they're in the name of entertainment.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to put something out there and entertain their readers. It doesn't matter who actually won or should have won. They just want to have results, talk about it, and then
give something,
ship it.
you know,
But
content.
for a manufacturer, they care. Like they want to know what car is faster, where it's faster, and why it's faster, which is why the 2019 GT350 brakes, the ABS, is so much better. So that was one area of improvement in terms of lap time and overall performance that the 2015 to 17s needed.
And you
Not
had
needed.
involvement in this?
Yes, so I got
look
to help on that front, but the 2019 GT350s, the ABS is so much better. The cars trail brake so well. You can get trail brake entry oversteer, so Vaughn would really like to see that, but he got to feel that on the GT500. So that has the same generation of parts and tuning and calibrations that allows that. So the cars rotate better mid-corner. You can trail brake more effectively, which means you can brake later, which means you're going full throttle longer. All that equates to faster lap times, more control over the car. The driver can do more with the car rather than trail braking and it just understeering. It now gets down to the apex. So the 2019 350s are fantastic. And lost my train of thought.
I got to learn some of these terms, man. I'm like, I'm just this, this trail braking and the downforce. Dude, I fail at that stuff. I'm just a parts guy, all right? I want to learn more, though, so it's good to have you around.
So yeah, the whole 2016 GT350 tech pack, those issues, well, I don't know. If you
ours are good.
If you want to track a car, get the track package. Get the coolers.
Yeah, we had a tech pack in our car, 16.
Yeah.
We had a technology package, and we were happy with it. I mean, it was like, I like to have, Sirius satellite radio and all that other stuff.
So I agree that it kind of sucked that there was, you either had to get the coolers or you had to get the tech stuff. You couldn't get both.
Yep.
So that was kind
of
a
changed
tough,
it though, right?
They did, because one, they realized that you just can't offer a car of that level to that can't cool down. And then two, I agree that it was a tough thing to have to either pick the technology or the cooling, but now you can get both, so everything's good there. And the 500, same thing.
Back when we were ordering it, though, it wasn't even a question really about it. It was like, here's what we have. You know what I mean? It's like you buy it or you don't. So,
what's more fun, FP350S, GT4, or the brand new GT500 carbon package?
Let's hear it.
They're all different. So the GT4 is a GT4 spec, which is global homologation. If you buy one of those cars, you can race in pretty much any GT4 series all around the world. Like I said, I was racing the GT4, the British GT class over in England, and then you can run the same car in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Sport Cup Challenge Championship, whatever it's called now. So that is just a high level. You got paddle shifters, and it is just a very developed, inexpensive car. About half the price of that is the FP350S, which, so if you want a track day car and you like rowing gears, get the FP350S. It has way more horsepower than the GT4, which is homologated down to probably low 400s, mid 400s-ish, depending on what the homologation is and the restriction of the engine. But the FP is 5.2, let her rip, a lot of horsepower, and you can roll your own gears. Just like I was saying, that car is really busy. It's incredibly fast. It's competitive with a GT4, but they're different, and also it's more affordable. So depending on what you want to do, that's what, depending on the budget and what you intend on doing on the car, is where you want to go. They're both fun. And then the GT500, you could drive it on the street, and lap times, well, without saying lap times, it is really fast. So it's pretty cool to have a car that fast that you could go in the drive-thru and pick up a burger.
Exactly. Right, roll through. Van's asking, can the 15 to 18 GT350 owners get the ABS calibration?
Yep. No, 15 through 18 owners. I was saying 18 350. I'm sorry, it's 19 350. Yep. No 18 through 15 through 18 350 owners cannot get the damper calibration, which is also I can't do simple math, like 5 years newer. The 2019 GT350's calibration is like a 4 or 5 year newer calibration, and the first 15 350 was one of the first, I think was the first Magna Ride equipped Ford car. So in that 4 to 5 years, the guys learned a ton.
You can't get
components about it. Yeah, no, you
just can't.
Short story, can't flash the 19. You cannot flash the 19 ABS or
time to upgrade. New car.
Buy a new car. Yep.
Exactly.
So was ABS just programming, not a hardware change? I think there was a generational difference in the hardware. So yes, no, it's not just a calibration change.
Your bacon boost.
Is the lap times, does it warrant the price point versus the competitors in the price range? Well,
what are you going to spend for cars that are comparable
to turn the lap times that
Yeah,
the 500 can do, you're going to spend a lot more, like X more.
Okay.
Amount X more.
Another, yep.
Yeah, a lot more.
Got it. There you have it. So, what's your favorite part of the new car? What's your favorite thing about it? Because there's a lot. There's a lot of awesome stuff about it. But if you were to choose one thing that you feel is like the best part of that car, what makes it what it is, you know what I mean? Is there one thing that you can think of, or it's just
Sound
overall?
lame, the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
The fact that like it does not have the right to perform as well as it does. And once you get all the numbers out, or even the numbers that are already out, the horsepower, torque, and gear ratios, I've seen a lot of criticisms of it, but I guess if you're never going to buy one or drive one, like that's all you can go by. But the car punches so much above its weight, so much better performance out of what just the numbers say on paper. Like it is truly an incredible car.
There you have it. So
I would say
the
yeah,
car in general.
The car in general.
I love the car.
Drivetrain's awesome. Nothing screams like that engine.
Okay.
No other supercharged production car feels like that, revving to 7,500 RPM. Yeah, it's just quite unique, the drivetrain. I like the transmission, so just the drivetrain. And then if you want to talk about the track car, it's just that car should not be able to do what it does. It is incredible.
I haven't seen what kind of drive shaft they were putting in them. I don't know if they released that or not. It's carbon fiber?
Yeah, there's
Got
pictures.
It. Okay.
Yep.
Single piece or two piece? I would think a single piece. Single
Yep.
piece. Got it. Okay. Got it. Rear end wise, similar to the Super 88 in
I believe
previous?
so. Yep.
Okay. We kind of talked about it, but do you wish there was a manual option available, or are we just so happy with the performance of where it's at with the DCT that it shouldn't even be a question about it?
I don't know. Like, I think that's more of a general question for the industry. Like, you saw Porsche say, okay, no more manual GT3s, and then they came out with the 3R, which like sold for 3 times as much. And then they came back with the manual and the GT3, but the take rate's still very, very low. So it depends. Like, if all that just costs money. If you want to develop a car with a manual, it's going to cost more money, which means all the cars are going to cost more money. The DCT car is going to cost more money because you're also going to have to develop the manual cars. So at what point do you say, okay, we're going to try to make everybody happy at the penalty of everybody, or the majority?
Of course,
so it's tough.
I'm sure someone's going to try and swap it at some point or another. I mean, that's just what people do.
Yep.
So, at some point we'll see that happen. Are you interested? Are you going to be getting a GT500? Are you going to be picking one up?
Possibly.
Or what? Possibly.
Quite possibly.
Possibly, maybe.
It is that good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good. Look at that.
Yep.
Well, if you pick one up and it's before the time that we have our car, or around the same time, bring it out to the track.
Fun. Yep.
Go have a great time. Yep. Listen, we are pretty much almost out of time, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Bacon Christy, you want to come over and say hi real quick, or come on in here? Christy in the house. Yep. Come on over here.
Hi, darlings.
Everybody, that's
Hi, guys.
Christy, Billy's wife. She's awesome. She's always been a part of everything we do, and thank you so much for supporting us.
Behind the scenes, but yes.
Yep, thank you so much. And I want to thank Billy for coming out, guys. Honestly, you don't even know how blessed you are to have him here to talk about stuff like this. It's not often that you get kind of like an inside look at things, or to be able to discuss it. So I'm happy that you've been on here to come on out and share that with our fans and our customers and stuff. And again, make sure to follow Billy on his Instagram page at Billy J Racing, as well as where have all your blogs are posted at.
Moto IQ has a lot of technical articles that I've written, varying from product reviews to driver techniques and how to become a better driver on a racetrack, to technical stuff like the carbon fiber wheels, how to size and select tires for your car. Most people do it wrong, so if you're interested in getting new tires for your car, check out
We
that
see that
article.
question a lot.
Yeah.
A lot on the groups on Facebook.
Yep.
It's almost like repeat.
Well, just
what
send the
tire
link.
do I do?
Send the link.
Exactly. So there you go. Follow Billy. Christy, we got in the house. Thank you guys so much for watching us. We appreciate all of your support. Love my fans. You guys are awesome, and we're going to keep on bringing it to you. All right? Take care, guys.
Thank you.